now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. Shall we start here on the daily? Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the massive rally that is about to start on Bitcoin and altcoins. If you have not been watching the chart, there is a beautiful pattern forming on the Bitcoin daily chart, actually the Bitcoin 4-hourly chart. That would be a symmetrical triangle pattern that is pointing up. Bitcoin right now is attempting to break bullish there, and we know that there is a great deal of long anticipation because a bunch of longs just got absolutely annihilated when we initially tried to break this level. But don't fear, there is one level that if Bitcoin can break it, all bets are off. We're most likely heading back to all-time high. Today, we're going to be looking at not just the Bitcoin chart. We are also not just going to be looking at the Bitcoin and the Cardano chart. We're going to be looking at the Bitcoin, Cardano, and Ethereum chart so that we can get a good overview of what Bitcoin and the altcoins are doing. We've got a lot of content that we need to bring to you about the altcoin season that is starting right now. We've got a lot of content to bring to you about how Bitcoin is about to rally back up to $123,000 and beyond. And I'm going to be telling you guys about our investments in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space so that you can see that I am putting my money where my mouth is. I am so excited to see Cardano going to $2. Ethereum going back to all-time high. Bitcoin going to $135,000 to $150,000. And then at the end of the stream, we're going to be talking about the winter. Winter is coming. Winter is coming and we must be prepared. The bear market is coming. It's going to happen. Most likely. I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe we won't have a bear market, or maybe it'll be a smaller bear market than what we've seen before because of all the institutional inflows. But I wouldn't bet on it. We don't have any reason to believe that a 4-year halving cycle bear market is not going to ensue. And if it does, we would be expecting that bear market to start in as little as 6 months. So it is imperative that we play the next 6 months correctly to get the biggest return possible out of Bitcoin and out of the altcoins, stack as many sats as possible, and not just build a big portfolio, know when to exit it, and then also know how to go into the bear market with cash reserves. Because it's very important that we store up for winter. Bitcoin has this 4-year halving cycle. It's almost like the seasons. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has a winter. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has a spring. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has a summer. And every 4 years, we have a fall. Right now, we're moving into crypto fall. We are harvesting what we planted over the last 2 years in 23 and 24. Now it's 25. We're starting to harvest. Winter comes in 26, and we need to be ready for that. So my opening question for you is, are you ready for a bear market if one happens? We have every reason to believe that a bear market is going to happen. If it gets invalidated because of institutional inflows, fantastic, phenomenal. I'm very happy about that. But if it doesn't get invalidated and the Bitcoin bear market does happen, you need to be ready. You need to be ready to buy the dips. I will be. Are you? We'll talk about all of that and more in today's episode. Welcome back, everybody. Apologies for the stream being gone on Friday and on Monday. We've had a multitude of scares with little baby Serenity, our fourth child that is currently in womb. And so well, she's running out of womb. So she's going to be coming soon. We're hoping that she'll be born relatively soon because pregnancy is very difficult on my poor wife. Poor lady. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry for her. So hopefully she'll be born soon. When she does, obviously I'll probably be gone for a couple of weeks. But I'll probably be making content relatively quickly. Because hopefully everything will be a lot better postpartum. So anyway, that's kind of the personal update. Let's read some chat and then we're going to get into it. Mad PT in chat. Good to see you, my friend. Mad PT is over in our Discord server. I am just absolutely loving our Discord server. I've got a bunch of work I need to do on it and continue to develop it. I'm so excited to have our community over there. When we trade, when I make investments, whenever I press the purchase button, I post it over there. So when I dumped $11,000 into Bitcoin yesterday, I posted it there. When I dumped $11,000 into Bitcoin the day before, I posted it there. In fact, I even showed our Discord server all of our recent purchases over the last 2 weeks to show them the nearly Bitcoin that we bought over the last 3 weeks. So if you want to see all of that and see us going into trades and trade some of these breakouts, make sure to check out the first cohort. I will explain to you how to get into it for free for a year here in just a moment, but I'll give you a hint. It has to do with signing up for 2bit and depositing $100. Shout out to Mad PT. We've got Dwarf in chat. Deep Diver. Giulio Morello is in chat. Morlio is in chat. It's Remy No Limits. Philly Skills. Craig, Scott, Josh, Ava, Dave, Queen, Pat B. Let's see. Jack Attack. How's the baby, dude? Seemingly okay. Baby woke up, started moving around a bunch, which is obviously painful for mama, but she's okay. So everything seems to be fine on that front. So that's good. All right. Let's do this. We got a lot to cover. First things first, a major breakout is possibly occurring as we speak right now on Bitcoin. I have been just dying to show you this chart. This chart is one that I've been watching behind the scenes. As I told you guys, we bought like, I don't know, $40,000 of Bitcoin or something for the investment position over the last few days. And I've been watching this pattern to see when the breakout comes, because I'm thinking that it's going to be a little while before we get to buy at 120 again. I think if a bear market happens, we will almost certainly get to buy. We'll almost certainly get to buy at 120 again if a bear market happens. But I still want to build a position here because I still think it's a great long-term entry. And so I've been looking at this downtrend here to give us some kind of idea as to when we're going to have a breakout. Now, Bitcoin really likes this 120 range because Bitcoin rallied up here to $120,000, which is basically on this Fibonacci level, which we'll talk about in just a second, 119.7, and it got rejected. It got rejected really, really, really hard. It got absolutely smashed. And so the interesting thing that happened here is that Bitcoin is in this big old symmetrical triangle pattern. Very obvious, very easy to see right here. Just a few hours ago, this morning, we broke bullish here and we double topped on 119.7. And what ended up happening is a bunch of people got liquidated. Like, my goodness, the longs got annihilated. You can see that in about, gosh, what was it, like, not very long, we saw Bitcoin drop all the way down here, negative $2,000. And then over here, the order books got absolutely annihilated, and we dropped all the way down to 637 for a minute. These scam wicks are really, really dangerous. Not too happy about that. Come on, Coinbase. You've got the ability to provide better liquidity than that. We don't need people getting liquidated. I hope nobody got liquidated on their longs or on their Morpho loans or anything because of, sorry about that, because of that scam wick here on Coinbase. I'm not sure why that happened. But anyway, it's important that we notice that even though the longs got annihilated here in the span of about 20 minutes, they turned around and bottomed right back up. So what I want you to understand here is that the people that were longing this breakout got wrecked, and then what did they do? They went right back into the long trade. Right back into the long trade, and almost as fast as we fell, almost back up to where we started, Bitcoin recovered, down here on the 5-minute chart. That just goes to show you how bullish people are. This is extremely, extremely, extremely bullish. Crypto Surge said, I haven't been in the loop. Has the baby been born? No, not yet. Not yet. She'll be 34 weeks tomorrow. We're hoping that the baby will stay in a little longer. But anyway, Bitcoin is breaking bullish above this downtrending level of resistance. And this is super exciting because it tells us that Bitcoin is tired of being under this resistance. Instead, Bitcoin is starting to turn it into support. We're well above it right now. And in doing so, Bitcoin is setting itself up for a lot, just an absolute beautiful movement. Because if you get rid of this scam wick right here, which is really just very annoying. I'm sorry for anybody that got liquidated by that. That's one of the risks of leverage. You got to be careful, right? Scam wicks can come and knock you out. You got to really watch out for that. But anyway, we have this uptrend right here, and this uptrend is pushing us against the flat level of resistance at 119. And it's not just the flat level of resistance at 119, it's also the Fibonacci. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is twofold. Number one, I want to encourage you to consider stacking sats still. I don't think that this bull market is over yet. I think Bitcoin's going to go a lot higher. I do want to caution you that if we have a bear market, there's almost certainly, we will almost certainly see these levels again. Because let's say we go as high as $200,000. A 40% drop would take us back to 120. 40% drop is barely even really a bear market. We've seen those kind of drops in the middle of bull markets before. Can you even really consider that a bear market? Right? So a drop back to 120 during a bear market is highly likely if a bear market happens. So I'm acquiring here, knowing full well I might get to see these levels again, but I might not. And that's not a risk I'm willing to take. I'm not willing to have Bitcoin just rocket off to, $200,000, $300,000 and just blast off and ignore everything and me miss that. I'm not willing to do that. So I'm buying here. as I've shown you guys in the first cohort, as I've just told you. So that's what we're doing. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to consider not being done with your investments, because the portfolio is going to go up in value. You may see these levels again, but you might see, what you might see is in the bear market in 2026. Oh my goodness, it's crazy that we're closer to 2026 than 2016. Feels like it was yesterday, it was 2016, right? We might see Bitcoin go up here and then do something like this. And then we spend, I don't know, 6 months down here around 100 to 120. But at the same time, it might not happen. And you also, you know, to be honest with you, you may have spent the money that you could have been investing in Bitcoin right now by then. So you don't have it anymore because you used it. You know, so for me, I'm just trying to get to our next Bitcoin target. We've got Bitcoin targets. You know, the first Bitcoin target was 1 Bitcoin. We hit that a long time ago. You know, the next Bitcoin target was 2 Bitcoin. You know, we hit that, 3 Bitcoin, etc. And so we add a Bitcoin target. What is our next target? And I'm just full speed ahead like a racehorse, just running as fast as I possibly freaking can towards it. And I'm doing that at these levels. I want to get as much Bitcoin as I can sub 120, because what's going to happen is very interesting. Take a look at this. If you draw Fibonacci off of our local bottom, and this bottom is not a scam wick. You can see this bottom shows up on all the charts. See this little wick right here? Shows up on all the charts. By the way, do you remember when we talked about this ABC corrective wave and Bitcoin didn't do that? The C wave was in time, not in space. That's extremely bullish. I don't know if you picked up on that, but Bitcoin technically should have dropped down here to 113 almost immediately. Instead, it traded sideways for the last week and a half. Very, very bullish. I'm so glad that got invalidated. Very, very, very bullish news for Bitcoin. Anyway, Bitcoin's bottom right here, if you draw the Fibonacci retracement from the all-time high at $123,000 down to this bottom right here, then what you will end up seeing is a 0.5 Fibonacci level at 119.7, which stands to reason because that's where we hit resistance right here. So you might think, well, Jeb, hang on a second. How does that work? Because that wasn't the level back here when we hit this level. Well, the funny thing is, sometimes Bitcoin will establish its touch and then it'll actually show you where the Fibonacci goes afterwards. So we kind of hit right here at 119.7, then we drop down here to make this make sense. And that also brings this into alignment. I'm not exactly sure the best way to explain this, but what I want to tell you is that a lot of times when a bottom comes in, and that bottom causes the Fibonacci to make sense, because like, where do I draw it? Right? If the chart's right here, where do I draw the Fibonacci to make this level make sense? Do I draw it right here? Nah, that doesn't really fit great. This doesn't fit great. This doesn't really fit great. But if I fast forward and Bitcoin drops down here, okay, well, what if I draw the Fibonacci here? Boom, perfect. This touches right in the Fibonacci golden pocket. This touches right here on 0.5. I need to figure out what this is called, because this is a, I've never seen anybody talk about this before, but when the market sets a bottom that makes all of the retracement rallies make sense according to Fibonacci, oftentimes that means the bottom's in. In other words, because this bottom makes this top and this top makes sense according to Fibonacci, that gives me an indication that that might have been the bottom. That's my clue. And if that's the case, then that is very bullish, because Bitcoin is currently rallying up to 119.7, and it's sitting right on top of 0.382, the inverse of phi. We're trying to use it as support right now. Can we hold it? I don't know. We'll see. But we have support right here, and we also have support right here. There's every reason to believe that Bitcoin could fall over. I mean, there is just bearishness in general right now. You know, we set a lower high, so we'll see what happens. But what I'm most interested in is this movement from 119.7 all the way up to the Fibonacci golden pocket. From the Fibonacci golden pocket, if we break the Fib golden pocket and we break these levels over here, that's where a trade all the way back up to all-time high comes in. So here is basically my influence for a trade and for an investment. If you're investing, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm buying as much Bitcoin as I can below 120. That's what I'm doing on the investment side. Trading side, if Bitcoin breaks here above 119.7, which is a double top, almost perfect double top. If we break this level right over here, now you're going to need to figure out exactly where it is, but it's right about, just move it right about here, right? Right about 119.750. If we break that, a trade up to the Fibonacci golden pocket comes into play. It's about a 0.5% movement. Pretty easy little scalp. You'd probably move back up to 120. Now, you'd want to take an exit a little bit before here. You want to take a little bit of an exit before here to kind of get your profits out. But then after that, there's another trade opportunity back up to all-time high, and it would look like this. Simply, as soon as you break this level, the absolute peak up here, absolute peak, 120, basically 121. Basically, when you break 121, a trade all the way back up to all-time high makes sense. And then that's about a 1.65% movement. So much bigger movement. So these are trades that'll play out in the next few weeks somehow. I don't know exactly how they're going to play out. I don't know if we're going to back test down here and then break out, if we're going to back test back here and break out. But regardless, the momentum on Bitcoin is extremely bullish right now. The fact that we had this massive short liquidation, long liquidation, and then the bulls bought it right back up is very exciting. On top of that, we'll likely be breaking through the all-time high on market capitalization, which is right here at about 3.92 trillion. According to CoinMarketCap, however, it is roughly at, let's go ahead and look at crypto market cap. We have roughly an all-time high at, oh my goodness, they move everything around on you, don't they? Here we go. Which is basically at 4 trillion, right? So we more or less hit $4 trillion. So if we do see the crypto markets break through $4 trillion, that's also where you're kind of off to the races, and Bitcoin and crypto market cap will probably go to 5 trillion, which would be a big even, and you could even see the bull market stop there. It's even possible that the bull market tops out at 5 trillion. Right, so something we're going to want to pay very close attention to. But there's our trade setups for Bitcoin. And as far as our investments, I'm buying at 120 until 2040. And then from that point in time, that's where we will be looking to take profits out of the Bitcoin in 2040. Not doing that until then. We don't sell Bitcoin until 2040. That's our thing. We have a 15-year time horizon. Every day we're getting closer. Every day that Bitcoin is on average getting more valuable. And to that end, I want to show you a couple of long-term bullish factors on Bitcoin. And then we're going to move on to looking at how alt season is starting. And we're going to talk about what the bear market is going to look like. So one of the longer term fundamentals that I want to point out to you is the 20 weekly exponential moving average. This moving average, for the first time in history over just the last couple of weeks, is above $100,000. 20 weekly exponential moving average is above 100K. That's absolutely phenomenal. Let's also look at the 20 monthly exponential moving average. The 20 monthly EMA is currently at $81,000. By the time this bull market stops, this EMA will probably be at least $105,000 to $110,000. It's just continual ascent higher. By the way, here's the reason that we invest for the long term. You guys, not you guys are really smart. Some people, let's not throw our own audience under the bus, will we? Some people are looking at Bitcoin like a line chart, which is naive and immature. They're saying, oh, but look at all this. Look at all this number. Look at all the volatility. Look. Here's how I look at Bitcoin. I look at Bitcoin, forget the price. Forget the price. I don't care about price. I look at Bitcoin as this. Just a continual march higher. Average the price out. Stop worrying about the price. The average price is going up. The average price of Bitcoin, the 20 monthly EMA, has gone from $27,000 to $80,700, a 200% movement in the last 2 years. Now, obviously, Bitcoin's a lot higher than that, but it's outside of its range. It'll come back down. Here's another thing to consider. When Bitcoin broke through the 20 monthly EMA in the last bear market, it dropped 60% from there. If we were to see the 20 monthly EMA rally up to let's call it 115 like we're expecting. If we drop 60% from there, you're still at $45,000 a coin. But honestly, that's probably not what's going to happen. You're probably going to see even more conservative corrections. You're probably going to see a lower bear market. Where's the bear market? Where's the bear market bottom? Well, the bear market bottom, in my opinion, is about $50,000 to $100,000, somewhere in that range. And this 20 weekly exponential moving average helps to give us context for that. I mean, in the last bear market before that, when we broke through the 20 weekly EMA, we only dropped 40%. So what happens if we rally to 115 and we drop 20% off of that level? 40% drop from there, $67,000. Does that make sense? Dang right it does. Look at visible range volume profile. Enormous amount of support in that range, around $65,000 to $70,000. We built what will probably be the bear market support here. If we go into a bear market, as we'll talk about in a little bit, it's probably going to bottom out between 50 and 70. If not, around 100. Still possible it could bottom out around 100. So let's talk a little bit about what that bear market is going to look like technically. Then we're going to zoom out, look at alt season, then we're going to talk about specific altcoins and their charts as well. Overall, extremely bullish on Bitcoin, extremely bullish on alts. I can't wait to talk to you about some of our alt picks. Okay, so bear market. Let's go to the BLX, Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. Where's bear market going? So many charts. I have charts on charts on charts. Let's just go ahead and hit that good old-fashioned delete button. Where's the bear market going? During the first bear market, Bitcoin would see a corrective movement of 85%, bottom to top, 86% drop. Right there. We dropped back down to $163. Wouldn't it be nice to see Bitcoin go to $163? I would love that. Next bear market bottom, we saw an 84% drop. So we went from 86 to 84. That's smaller for those of you in the back. Last bear market, a lot more institutional buying going on. Yeah, we have nation states buying with MicroStrategy, 77% drop. Bitcoin in this bear market dropped 84%. Bitcoin in this bear market dropped 77%, 78%. That's 6% smaller. So what gives? Let's say Bitcoin drops 6% smaller than this bear market. You're looking at a 70 to a 72% retracement. Well, that's pretty simple math. Let's go to $180,000, which is a possible top for this cycle. You think, Jeb, that's crazy. No, it's really not. It's probably going to happen. If Bitcoin goes to $180,000 this cycle and we drop 70%, let's say 70%, guess what? You drop back down to $53,000, $54,000. Okay, does that make sense from the bottoms? Let's look at the bottoms for the bear markets, right? Let's look at bear market bottoms. We have a bottom at, call it $200. The bottom at $200, 1,500% rally to the next bear market bottom. Okay, 1,500%. Let's keep that in mind. From that bear market bottom, we have a $3,000 Bitcoin all the way up to $15,000. That's a 400% bear market bottom. So this roughly got cut in a quarter. Let's say if this is 100% higher, bear market bottom's 300%, 200% higher, $50,000. Does that make sense? That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you're telling me that the bear market bottom went from $200 to $3,000 to $16,000. Does it not then therefore make sense that you're going to see the bear market bottom be even higher, right? You're seeing bear market bottoms basically bounce off of an uptrend kind of like this. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. And so when you look at these long-term perspectives, bear market bottom on Bitcoin is probably $50,000 to $100,000 if one happens. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there. That's important information. Now, let's talk a little bit about alt season. I'm going to read chat for a second. And then we're going to talk about alt season because alt season is starting right now and I don't want you guys to miss it. But one thing I also don't want you guys to miss are the amazing opportunities that we have right now over on some of our sponsors. If you guys do not know, we are currently trading with 2bit and I'm really, really enjoying 2bit. And I want you guys to check out this exchange because they are doing things a little bit different. The reason that I want you to check out 2bit, number one, it's the exchange that I'm doing my trading on. That's what I just love the exchange. They've got some really cool new features. They have a new feature that I'm going to tell you about in a second. But right now, when you sign up for 2bit and you deposit $100, you're going to get $30 instantly for free. You just made $30. All you did is deposit $100 and you got $30. Now, when you register, you're also going to get $50. So you should, if I understand, you're going to get $80 when you sign up and deposit $100. But then when you trade perps for the first time and do $1,000 of perpetual futures trading, you're going to double this to $100. So by depositing $100, you just made $130. 30 plus 50 times 2. 50 times 2 is 100 plus 30. You made $130 by depositing $100 and trading some with it. But it gets better because if you deposit $100 on 2bit, and you send an email to the email address in the description box down below, one of my employees, Malachi Pats at CryptoJeb.com, with proof that you signed up for 2bit and deposited $100, then we will give you a coupon code to get into the, wow, that's some big thunder. We will give you a coupon code to get into the first cohort trading group for free for a year. That is a $419 value. For free, you'll get into our trading group for a year. So if you have not already, sign up for 2bit, deposit $100, with just like 10 minutes of activity, get $130 cash in your hands. And then you will also be able to get into the first cohort trading group where we are doing all of our trading, doing all of our updating, all of that stuff. You can see there's a bunch of people joining right now. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of trades, a lot of just wisdom in here. You're going to get into that for free for a year if you sign up for 2bit. So make sure to do that. Let's read a little bit of chat. Really appreciate all of you guys who have signed up for 2bit. And also really appreciate all of you guys who are watching the stream. Let's read some chat. Then we're going to jump back into the charts. Jeb, what are your thoughts on Link? Link is incredible. I love Chainlink. I love Chainlink to the moon and back. It's such a good project. Incredible project. In fact, you know what? We'll let Chainlink be the first chart that we look at. We'll do that. We'll let Chainlink be the first chart we look at. I am over the moon about Chainlink's fundamentals. The only thing I don't like is that there's not really a well, actually, I take that back. Never mind. There is a fixed supply. I'm sorry. I was thinking about another project. Chainlink does have a fixed supply. It's 1 billion links. So no, actually, I love that too. Yeah, I was going to say one caveat, but I was thinking about a different project. I was probably thinking about Solana. All right, let's read a little bit of chat here. Thoughts on Link? Love it. See you in the trading group later. That deal is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. I mean, oh my gosh, how can you get a better deal than that? You're the best. Thanks. I love Chainlink. I'm a holder of Chainlink. Have been for years. Surprised it hasn't gone farther. That's where I think altcoin season is going to go absolutely nuts. Absolutely ballistic. Jeb, is there a downside strategy buying this much Bitcoin? And if yes, what can happen to Bitcoin? There are 2 risk factors to Bitcoin. 3 if you invest in Bitcoin in a certain way. If you buy Bitcoin, there's 2 major risk factors. Number 1, excuse me, 51% attack or attack through quantum computing. Quantum computing is an issue that Bitcoin is going to have to watch out for. I don't think we're there yet. It's going to be a long time before quantum is able to break SHA-256, if ever. I don't believe it ever will. Personally, I don't see it being an issue. We already have the technology to be quantum resistant. It just needs to be added through a BIPM, a Bitcoin improvement proposal, which is most likely going to happen. And I will be a very loud voice for that. It needs to happen. We need quantum resistance. The only other real existential threat to your Bitcoin stack is to the Bitcoin market itself is nation state assault. But to be honest with you, you would need every single nation on planet Earth to crack down on Bitcoin to really have a market impact on Bitcoin. The United States is not stupid enough to ban Bitcoin. Everybody went from playing hot potato with, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's used by money launderers, it's used by criminals. Well, guess what? So is the United States dollar. At least Bitcoin doesn't lose half of its value every 20 years. So the United States is very pro-Bitcoin right now. Donald Trump just bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin yesterday for his own personal company. We're most likely seeing him front-run the United States' acquisition of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to go freaking nuts. And if we do see the Bitcoin bill pass with 1 million Bitcoin being acquired by the United States federal government, then we are almost certainly not going to see a bear market. All of that said, those are the 2 major risk factors of Bitcoin. Government incompetence or overreach and quantum. Now, there's a couple of other risk factors that are personal to you. Number 1, if you leave your Bitcoin on exchanges or exposed, you can be hacked and you can lose all your coin. Number 2, if you leverage against your Bitcoin to take out collateral and then either reinvest in Bitcoin or do something, you can get liquidated. So that's number 3 and 4 of the risk factors is if you loan out your Bitcoin on like Coinbase Morpho or on Aave or something like that. I'm not saying it's a bad strategy, but you have to be careful because you can get liquidated there because you introduce counterparty risk at that point. And then there's also that 4th risk, or I suppose I should say the 3rd risk, that you could get hacked personally, your own wallet, because you weren't careful enough with your seed phrases. So those are the things to watch out for. The first 2 are extremely unlikely. The second 2 are highly possible. So watch out for them. All right. Will you take profit this cycle or round trip all your Bitcoin? Round tripping it, baby. I believe in Bitcoin. I'm not selling sats until 2040. I don't care. But Jeb, you could sell your Bitcoin at the top and buy back in the bear market. Well, what happens if the next day that I do that, the United States passes a bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin and the price quadruples up to 500K? That is not a risk I am willing to take. People think I'm not willing to risk putting money into Bitcoin. I'm not willing to risk parting with my Bitcoin. Round tripping it, baby. This is the Bedrock channel. We hold Bitcoin and we don't sell it, period. Period. I do not sell Bitcoin until 2040. Not doing it. People do not get rich by trading with their investment portfolio. I have trades and investments for this account. We do day trading. I scalp, man. I'll trade and I'll be in and out in 10 minutes if there's an opportunity. In the trading group last week, I was in a trade for 1 minute and 40 seconds. We made 23%. Like that. When we broke 120, we went to 123. I traded that. Made 23% profit in less than 2 minutes. I do not trade my Bitcoin. It is not a trading account. It is an investment account. I'm trading my altcoins. All of my altcoins, I'm trading them. I fully plan on liquidating every single one of them at the top of this cycle, putting all that cash into a cash account that I will then buy the dip with at the bottom of the bear market should one happen. I am not selling the Bitcoin. Not happening. You will have to pry my Bitcoin out of my cold, dead fingers. I'm not selling it. So yeah, that's my take. Not selling it. Could you do that and make money? Yeah, but you also introduce a lot more risk than I'm willing to take. I'm not going to risk having a smaller Bitcoin position in the future. I don't care about having a bigger cash account. I care about having a bigger Bitcoin account in the future because Bitcoin is going to demonetize the United States dollar. It's going to replace the global treasury systems. And it is absolutely something that you're going to want to be around for. So I'm not selling any of it. I'm not playing cycles with Bitcoin. I'm playing cycles with altcoins, but I'm not playing cycles with Bitcoin anymore because I believe one day the cycles are going to be gone anyway. And I don't want to be the one that sells my Bitcoin right as the cycles are ending, and then I'm just screwed. Pass. I'll pass up on that. All right. Now, we got a little bit of time before we have to wrap it out here. See, we've been going for 31 minutes. Got to go make the video pretty soon. But I do want to talk a little bit about some alts, because you guys love alts. So do I. There's a lot of opportunity in altcoins right now. Real quick on Chainlink, this is a massively undervalued project. My goodness. Chainlink, without Chainlink, DeFi doesn't exist. At least not in its current capacity. If you don't know what Chainlink does, Chainlink provides a very important bridge between the real world and the decentralized finance world, the realm of the realm of the funny money realm, right? Chainlink brings off-chain information on-chain. So you're talking pricing data, you're talking weather data, you're talking sports data. I don't care what you're looking for. If it's off-chain, it comes on-chain with Chainlink, and it comes on-chain in a verifiable and proven way. And so what we're seeing right now with Chainlink is that it is very much undervalued. Very much undervalued. There has been some dilution since the last bull market, and you can see that in the market cap, but that's something that is not going to continue because there is a maximum supply of 1 billion Link. Almost 700 million are already in circulating supply, so that's really not bad. If you look at the website, Chainlink has secured, what, like $21 trillion of transactions? What's the number now? 21 trillion, I think, was the last. 12 trillion. No. Okay, 22 trillion. When it said 12, I thought that was wrong. Almost 2,300,000 million billion trillion dollars worth of transaction volume. $23 trillion worth of transactions. How is this project not worth more money? It's absolutely absurd. There's no stock that you can buy that represents Chainlink. There's just Chainlink. Absolutely incredible project. This is a project, honestly, that I would be interested in adding to a very long-term position that transcends cycles. I do intend to eventually start investing in altcoins, agnostic to cycles. Chainlink would probably be one of the first projects that I would do that with, because Cardano, Solana, and Ethereum, they're all competing. They're all competing for the number one position as the king of decentralized finance. Chainlink is basically uncontested. There are some smaller projects that are trying to fight with Chainlink, but there's not much that you can do to compete with Chainlink. It is a absolute, verifiable juggernaut for connecting financial institutions and blockchains to secure data. Chainlink is the only platform capable of connecting financial institutions and blockchains to secure data, cross-chain interoperability, and decentralized compute that they need for advanced on-chain applications. This is one of the most powerful applications of decentralized finance in history, and it is a crime that it's only worth $13 billion. That will get price adjusted as the cycle goes on. Chainlink, as we talked about in the last cycle, it didn't happen last cycle, but it'll happen this cycle. Chainlink will go to $100. Chainlink will hit $100, and then it'll keep going. $100 is still less than $100 billion worth of value on Chainlink. And without Chainlink, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, none of them are anywhere near as advanced as they are. Chainlink is an incredible protocol, and you will see that price get corrected to where it belongs, which is a lot higher than where it is. And it's up 25% in the last 7 days. So that's the first thing I want to point out is Chainlink is going to absolutely just annihilate. It's just going to melt faces. Ellie B in chat said, new sub here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's talk about dominance. Bitcoin's dominance is getting eviscerated, and I love it. We're actually going to look at it on bitcoin.d over here on TradingView. We talked about this in our Cardano video recently. This is a highly bullish sign for, very, very good sign for the alt season. We had two different cycle tops on alt season back over here during the last cycle. The first one, Bitcoin, was right here. We were right here in the middle of the uptrend, and we saw a bit of an altcoin cycle. The second altcoin cycle happened as Bitcoin was basically going towards the all-time high. Let's remove this EMA so we can see a little better. We can basically see that Bitcoin had a massive crash on dominance as it was going towards all-time high, and then the altcoins went absolutely ballistic. That's what's about to happen here. Bitcoin's going to grow, but it's going to get outperformed by altcoins for the next 6 months, which is part of the reason why I like buying Bitcoin here, because Bitcoin will end up having a resurgence, and that means that the Bitcoin price is being even more suppressed than it already was, and then Bitcoin will just autocorrect to where it needs to go. But what we saw last cycle is that the let's go back to regular. We need to be on regular. We saw alts go to this level, the 0.618 Fibonacci level. You can see that right here if we just kind of hide everything. The alts went to, not hide everything, if we remove these vertical lines, the alts went to the 0.618 Fibonacci level. Then they corrected both times. This time they didn't get there. This time they went up to 0.5. That just kind of shows you that over time, Bitcoin wins. In short spurts, altcoins win. And that's what's about to happen here. But for now, the alts are going to win. And Bitcoin is being slowed down because the altcoins are getting so much attention. Alts are going crazy. And what we're going to see happen is the altcoin cycle is going to start. But it's not going to be just simple as, okay, Bitcoin gets suppressed, alts go crazy. What's going to happen is you're going to see something that we talked about in the last cycle that people have been wanting me to talk about again, called the altcoin engine of markets. What happens when you see an altcoin season is that people make money in Bitcoin. Okay, they bought Bitcoin at 100,000. They rode it up to 120. They sell the Bitcoin at 120. They got a sack of cash. They made 23%. You got that on 10x levers. They made 230%. And what do they do with all the money? Well, they invest some of it into the long term in Bitcoin, but some of it they cycle over through the altcoin engine into the altcoins, because the altcoins are undervalued because they were just overshadowed by Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin rallies, altcoins fall to the wayside. People make money in Bitcoin. What do they do with the money? What do they do with the money? They just sit on it. They don't want fiat. Screw that. They'd rather have altcoins than fiat. So they take the profits from that trade and they dump it into the altcoins. Altcoins are undervalued. They get $100 billion of money show up, and then what ends up happening is that the altcoins rally. Okay, now altcoins have doubled. You take Cardano from 70 cents to $1.40, right? You take Chainlink from, $18 to 30, something like that. You take, Ethereum from $3,000 to $4,200. People take those profits and then they cycle them back into Bitcoin. Right now, you can see Bitcoin is being devalued compared to the altcoins, and it's obvious on the Bitcoin market. Sorry, on the dominance charts. 8% drop. That's a big drop, man. Altcoins have exploded over the last couple of weeks, right? I mean, it's incredible. Okay, so the altcoins have exploded. What does that mean? Bitcoin's getting left behind. Bitcoin's just kind of trading sideways here, minding its own business. Bitcoin started the rally. Now the altcoins are flourishing. Bitcoin's taking a nap, and the altcoins are going nuts. And so what does that mean? What that means then is that Bitcoin is in a great buying opportunity in the same way that alts were in a great buying position 2 weeks ago. Now Bitcoin is. 3 weeks ago, alts were in a great buying position. Now Bitcoin is. Because the next leg of the cycle is going to be Bitcoin popping off. Bitcoin's going to moonshot to 150. Altcoins will temporarily get left behind. Then the altcoins will be a great buy. So you can front run both cycles right now by buying Bitcoin right now, because what you're going to see happen in the next month or two is Bitcoin's going to go ballistic. And two, you can still be buying into altcoins now because they're nowhere near done for the cycle. But if you're trying to trade this specific fluctuation of the altcoin engine, you're going to miss a lot of it because a lot of it's already happened. But it's not too late, and I love altcoins. They're going to grow a lot. Over the next few weeks, they're going to grow a lot. So Bitcoin's big rally is probably going to start breaking above new all-time high. Probably off in August. We predicted that Bitcoin would get to $125,000 in August. It happened in July. We made a prediction that in the month of August, we would see Bitcoin trading between 118 and 125. It literally started an hour after I made that prediction. So Bitcoin front ran what I was saying, and that's fine. But what we're going to see now is that for the rest of July and for a good part of August, you're going to see the altcoins taking a lot of the dominance. Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to drop. In fact, I'll tell you where it's going to drop to. Bitcoin dominance is most likely going to drop. Let's see. Let's go out to the 3-day chart. Bitcoin dominance is most likely going to drop down to this level right here. 58.65, because we're on the regular chart, right? It's most likely going to drop down to right here. And then it's probably going to stop. And you're going to hit this uptrend. And then it's probably going to reverse. And then this little small alt season might conclude. Bitcoin goes up here to 0.618. And then from that point in time is when the altcoin season really kicks in, and that could be in 2020. That could be in 2026. This is one of those ideas that makes me wonder if the 4-year halving cycle is starting to be broken. I wonder if this is an early warning sign that 4-year halving cycle is starting to die. The fact that alt season isn't already in full swing. It does make me wonder, well, wait a second. If we're going to have a big alt season, and it only makes sense, by the time it gets here, it's going to be 2026. It's going to be time for the bear market. So is the 4-year halving cycle turning into a 5-year cycle? A 6-year cycle? Are we seeing lengthening cycles? Lengthening cycles are the first warning sign of a super cycle. Are we seeing a super cycle? I don't know. But what I am saying is that alt season being delayed, that should tell you something. The fact that alt season is taking this long should be a warning sign to you that something strange is happening. It should be an early warning sign to you that we might be seeing lengthening cycles. Okay, because it does not make sense that Bitcoin is at its all-time high and it's time for it to just shed market dominance and for alts to just take us down to, like, you know, down here. That doesn't make sense at all. Like, that makes no sense. So what does make sense? Maybe Bitcoin's going to have another big swing and then it's going to reverse. What gives? Why is the cycle getting so long? Because here's the thing that we've talked about. We talked about this a lot last year. Based on the 4-year halving cycle, this bull market should be over in mid-November. Like 4 months from now. That's not long enough for a full-blown alt season. I mean, unless we just start going completely blow off top in the next couple of weeks on Bitcoin and on alts, it makes no sense that all-time high is in by then. It seems like it would take longer. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, look at these long-term uptrends that we've talked about. Look at these long-term uptrends that we've talked about, right? Bitcoin's got one of them right here. Bitcoin's got one of them right here. We've been talking about these a lot lately. Bitcoin rallying up to 150 is basically a no-brainer, right? Very obvious. So do we hit 150 and then that's the end of the cycle? Really makes you wonder. I don't know. Lengthening cycles seem to be getting more likely. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Ethereum and Cardano, as I promised. Ethereum has gone nuts. I held straight through all of this. Didn't sell a single ETH. Not one. Not one. Because the alt season is not here yet. A lot of people are freaked out about alt season. I have been only long alts for years. I sold some alts back here at the top. I have not sold any since then. The only alts that have gone out of my possession was I had a hack right here. And so we lost some alts like back here like 3 years ago. And I didn't sell that. It was stolen, right? The only thing that we've seen was a major acquisition of altcoins. I bought a bunch of altcoins like 2 years ago. They're all in profit by a good bit. And that's only going to increase. I'll tell you when I start liquidating alts. Not there yet. I haven't sold a single one of them. I have not started DCing out of them or anything. There's a lot of room to go. Ethereum is probably going to go back to all-time high. We're most likely going to come up here and touch $4,000 again. When was the last time in a financial market that you saw a level get touched by a $500 billion juggernaut 4 times and it not break? That doesn't usually happen. If you look on the long term for ETH, you have these uptrends that start to show you, okay, we're making higher highs and higher lows, or excuse me, at least we're making higher lows, right? If you look at the long-term chart, like the monthly chart, you can see on the monthly chart, we're about to have a bullish cross on MACD, on ETH. RSI just broke bullish. We're very far away from the all-time high here. The all-time high on RSI for 2024 was up here at 70. Before that, we went to 92. Ethereum was burning red hot. Okay, the long-term technicals on ETH are looking incredible. But Ethereum has not died. It has established an incredible bull market. Bulwark of support here. Incredible bulwark of support here. Between $1,500 and $4,000, which will eventually end up being a bear market bottom. Eventually, $4,000 to $5,000, maybe as low as $3,500, will be the bottom of a future Ethereum bear market. Ethereum's going to go to $10,000 by the end of this decade. We've been saying that since about 2021. In the 2020s, Ethereum is going to hit $10,000 a coin. Didn't happen last cycle. We went too parabolic, too fast, and needed to cool off, and needed years to cool off. But it's going to happen. As Ethereum moves towards breaking through $4,000, that's when alt season's really going to kick off, and these alts are going to get very, very, very hot. I love Ethereum. I'm a big fan of Ethereum. I hold a lot of Ethereum, and I cannot wait to see where Ethereum is going to go. Very happy about it. Now, I also want to talk about Cardano. I just made a video on ADA. If you haven't watched it, you should. The video's got over 50,000 views between YouTube and Twitter. It's got over 30,000 views over on Twitter. It's about to pass 30,000 views here on YouTube. So go back and watch that video if you haven't already. But I want to give you a quick, kind of a brief overview. Essentially, there's a gigantic rally coming to Cardano very soon. I think I said Ethereum a second ago. I meant to say Cardano. There is a massive rally coming to Cardano very soon. This is the chart that we showed you in that video. There is one major rounded bottom that has been taking place on Cardano for the last 4 years. If you'll recall, back over here on the way down, I got very popular and I got a lot of flack for saying Cardano is going to $10 this decade. I said Cardano would go to $10 by 2030. And then as Cardano's trading at 40 cents, people are like, what happened to $10 by 2030? I've told you the entire time, I still believe it's going to happen. $10 by 2030 on Cardano, highly likely. We could go to $10 this cycle. It's possible. You're looking at a $300 billion Cardano. Is that doable? Yeah, it is. It is. It's very doable. But anyway, what we're seeing right now is something that's already played out once. We saw Cardano break a downtrend right here. What happened? It exploded. This was a 300% movement up to a fib level. 320% movement, a dollar movement on Cardano. This was late last year. We're about to see the same thing happen again. We have a rounded bottom that's pushing us into this downtrending level of resistance. We're right below the 0.236 Fibonacci extension level. And then once we break this downtrend and the 0.236 Fibonacci extension level at 90 cents, which is basically right above our head, we're probably going to blast off first and foremost to the 0.382 level here at $1.30. And then we're likely going to rally to the 0.5 level. And then we're probably going to rally up to Fibonacci Golden Pocket. If we rally back to Fibonacci Golden Pocket, that is more or less our confirmation that we're going back to all-time high. We just don't know when. We will most likely see an enormous blast off on Cardano, and I do not want you to miss it. There's a massive opportunity right now getting Cardano below $1. There's a lot of development going on it. I want to see more, but there's a lot of development going on Cardano with the integrations with Bitcoin that are happening, with the amount of smart contracts that are being developed on it. The TVL is not where I want it to be, but it is increasing. It is growing. I'm very encouraged by what Cardano is doing. So I think Cardano returning back to $2 in this cycle is very likely, and then probably even higher. Now, I also want to talk about Solana, because Solana just recently broke $200. Very, very, very important movement there. Solana breaking $200 is a big deal. Now, I do have concerns with Solana. The main one is that it does not have a fixed supply. I have the same concern with Ethereum. It does not have a fixed supply. But in general, Solana is a very high-performing altcoin, and it does have a relatively low rate of appreciation of inflation. And so that is something that is helpful, especially considering the amount of build out on Solana. Whereas you have a great deal of concern about the TVL on Cardano, that's not really an issue on Solana. You've got $10 billion of TVL going on over on Solana, and there's a lot of fees being paid over here from Jupiter and whatnot. The DEXs are making $4 billion a day, right? Stablecoin market capitalization built out on Solana is sitting at $11 billion. This is a lot more development than you're seeing even in the Cardano space. So whereas Cardano could go to $2, a big rally is highly likely to come to Solana relatively soon. We have a bunch of Solana. We acquired a lot of it down here below $100. We acquired even more around $130 to $140. I'm holding it for the rest of this cycle. I think Solana will go to $1,000 by the end of the decade. By the end of this cycle, I think it could go to $400 to $500. So still a pretty solid return in place on Solana. So make sure to stay tuned, guys. I'm very excited to see where we're going to go. $100 Link, $10 Cardano, $10,000 Ethereum, $1,000 Solana. I think all of those things will happen by the end of the next bull market, by the end of this by the end of this bull market, probably considerably higher than we have been so far. So very excited about all of that. All right. Lol, bro, this cycle going to be done by the end of October. And the thing you have to consider is that this cycle will conclude in October to November if the 4-year halving cycle repeats. And we should not assume that the 4-year halving cycle is not going to repeat until we have proof that it has broken. So we are still operating under the understanding of the 4-year halving cycle leading to a bull market top in Q4 of this year, which is next quarter. So winter is coming. Prepare for it. stack some cash. I'm hoping the 4-year halving cycle will break, but we need to see confirmation of that first. Now, before we wrap it out, if you want to trade with us, the best way to do it is deposit $100 on 2bit. You're going to make $30 instantly. It's a 30% return instantly. That's incredible. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you deposit $500 and you trade $30,000 of volume, which is really easy, I mean, that's like nothing, you're going to get a $100 reward. $5,000 deposit, $800,000 volume, $500 reward. $8,000 deposit, $1.5 million of volume, $800 reward. Some of you guys, there's already people over there that have done $1.5 million that have made $800. There's several of you guys in our 2bit. I can see you in there. You've deposited $8,000. You've done 1.5 million of trading volume. You made $800 just off of a bonus. That's incredible. $15,000 deposited, $3 million traded, $1,500. $70,000 deposited, $5 million of volume. Really not that hard. $5 million of volume on $70,000, that's nothing. $5,000 bonus. $100,000 deposited, $9 million volume, $10,000 rebate. That's incredible. You're making money on that. $150,000 deposited, $25 million of volume, $30,000 bonus. That's amazing. You can make a lot of money right now by signing up for 2bit. But if you're a small fish and you're just getting started, you can also make $130 easily. Deposit $100, you're going to get $30 instantly. Just for registering, you're going to get a $50 welcome bonus. And when you do $1,000 or more of perp futures, which is basically just leverage trading, that's just a fancy word for leverage trading, $1,000 of volume, which is pretty much nothing, $1,000 of volume, you're going to double that to $100. So you make $130 within 10 minutes of signing up. And then when you take a screenshot of your UID, your user identification data, that number, and proof of deposit of $100 and send it to MalachiPats@CryptoJeb.com. Again, he's one of our employees. He's going to put you in a database and you're going to get a discount code for the first cohort, our trading group, our Discord server's trading group. Right now, bunch of people joining over here. You can see all of my trades, all of my investments, everything I do. Whenever I buy or sell or anything, I post it over here. I will show you all of that. You'll get 1 year for free by signing up for 2bit, depositing $100. You're going to get $130 basically instantly from 2bit themselves, and then we're going to give you $419 of value for free instantly. Sign up for 2bit right now. Use that to get into the first cohort Discord server. And I want to help trade with you. I want to trade with you. I want to learn from you. I want to teach you. I want to work together. Let's go make some money together. That's my goal. My goal is to help you make as much money as possible. Seriously, that's about what it amounts to. My job is to help you become as profitable as possible through charting analysis. One of the best ways I can do that is by having one-on-one conversations with you guys and trading right alongside you guys and showing you exactly what I'm doing. Exactly what I'm doing. I showed the group all of our entries. If you want to know how much Bitcoin I bought, by the way, it's like 6 figures worth of Bitcoin. If you want to see how much Bitcoin I bought this month, the month of July, if you want to see every single one of my entries, the average cost, the cost, the amount, all of it, it's all in the Discord server. Sign up right now. 2bit. Pause $100. That's simple. A year for free. All right. Let's read a little bit of chat and then we're going to wrap it out. I got to go shoot today's video. Yeah, I think I need to clarify. ADA could go to $2 this cycle. ADA will go to $2 this cycle and then probably past $2. I'm just saying in the next couple of months, it's probably going to go to $2. No, it's probably going to go to $5 this cycle, $10 next cycle. ADA will go to $10 by the end of the decade. It will go to $5 by the end of this cycle is my prediction. That's what I believe is going to happen. Beetlejuice said, smash the likes, people. That's right. 5K into Bitcoin tomorrow. Boom. Do it. Love it. Let's see. By the way, I do want to let you guys know, like 5% of my portfolio is in altcoins. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. If you guys are 100% in altcoins or you've got 70% of your portfolio in altcoins, you're outside of my recommendation. You can do whatever you want, but you're outside of my recommendation. I recommend every single one of you have at least 50% of your portfolio, your crypto portfolio, in Bitcoin. Because the point of investing or trading alts, the point of trading, leverage trading, the point of just about anything we do with money is to get more Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the end game. Okay, so if Cardano goes to $10, that's great. I'm going to buy more Bitcoin with that. If I can outperform Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin, that's what I'm going to do. But the most important thing for me is to get more Bitcoin. $2 this cycle is actually disastrously bearish. Yeah, it would be. I'm hoping and praying that we're going to go to $5 this cycle. I think we will. I think we will. Let's see. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. If you did, come on, join 2bit, sign up over there. You're going to get access to an awesome exchange. By the way, they have a new feature over there, which I'm really excited about. It'll show you your like actual profit and loss after the fee. So you can you don't have to calculate, hey, am I in profit or loss with the fee? It'll actually show you. So I love that feature. That's something that I wanted to let you guys know about with 2bit. That's very exciting. So definitely sign up. I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, we're going to have to wrap it out. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way. We're on the march to 250,000 subscribers. Very excited about that. And hey, guys, I love you. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.